Greetings and welcome to another episode of Healing for the Family. This is a podcast we hope will redeem the place of the family as the basic unit of society. And we have been doing this series of conversations on parenting. And for the last 2 episodes, we've been talking about single parenting. And Mercy Adu has been an amazing guest to us, just sharing her story and her experiences of parenting. 3 kids. Parents to be, future parents, touche, as a single mom. And at the end of the last episode, we were talking about guilt, the feelings, the general feelings of being a single mom that, so many single moms carry. Feeling of guilt, like you did something wrong, it is your fault that your children are growing up in an incomplete family. And we did a good job trying to define the family and just demystifying those idealistic thoughts that we have about family, a family being complete only because it has father, mother, and children. Mercy, thank you for joining us again. Karibu sana. You're telling us on the last episode, you're talking about guilt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think for me, at the moment, so the guilt has been in terms of, I feel like I have not given the kids the kind of life I had envisioned for them.
Yeah.
Because how do I put this? Because it's a single parent home.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think some of the hardest places I found myself, or some of the most difficult situations have been. So, for example, at some point I learned my son blamed me for the dad and I
what
not,
happened. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being together, and that was hard. And he didn't tell me. He didn't tell me directly. He actually didn't tell me.
Yeah.
Again, the community that I have around me. So he told a pastor, a friend of ours, and so that's when the pastor asked me, so have you had a conversation with Myron about
what happened? Yeah.
And we talked, and this is what
he feels.
He feels. This is what he thinks actually happened, and that broke me, because now it put me in a place for I did not want to defend myself per se.
Yeah.
But there's also the bit of how much should he
know
as a child know?
I mean, because you'd also don't want him thinking a certain way about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me that was difficult. Then society or people around me, there's been stuff like you do not have to. Before I actually made the decision to walk away from my marriage, a number told me the verses that would be quoted.
God hates divorce.
God hates divorce. I think that for me was not even an issue that I was able to deal with. And I love research, and I did my research, so I had responses.
Yeah.
When you tell me God hates divorce, I'd tell you there are 6 things that the Lord hates.
Yeah.
I had responses for that. But the one that I used to find so difficult to deal with and process was, a wise woman builds a home, a foolish one destroys it with her own hands. And I'm like, man,
did I destroy my own?
Yeah, did I destroy my own?
Am I foolish?
Yeah, am I foolish? Am I? What he said in Proverbs, and there are very many verses in Proverbs.
There's this meme when you read. There's a meme. I don't know if you saw this. You've seen this meme of when you're reading the book of Proverbs and you find out that you are the fool.
Yes. So
you are the fool the book is talking about.
Am I?
Yeah.
But also there are people who are actually bold enough to sometimes say it. Even most of the time, just say it and have a conversation with me. Or suggests otherwise, like, you can just, things will work out somehow. So just wait, vumilia too. You know, some kind of things that are told, especially to ladies. I don't know if men are told vumilia too.
Ladies,
I've not heard of those scenarios, and I may be biased, but well, what I know, it's most times it's ladies we are told. And then there's the whole bit that when a family falls apart, it's almost the lady is looked at like she has failed. I mean, even when you're running for office, for example, for ladies, it is so important that your family side is well put together and everything is in place. Unlike for men get away with a lot. So yes, again, that was something I had to deal with by myself. Because constantly I'd be like, okay, Mercy, did I fail? Did I fail by choosing to walk away? And the truth is, it was whichever way I chose. I mean, I was
whatever
between a
choice
rock.
you made.
Yes,
I mean, there would have been severe consequences.
There were severe consequences, but there's the whole blame that I personally carried for a while. Yes, there's society, but there's also the voice that would constantly be like, Mercy.
You know, I find it interesting that we would have these expectations on women. Have this expectation, a woman be perfect. Have
Proverbs 31.
Build the Proverbs 31 woman, build your house a certain way, and would even celebrate, ostracize is the word. Ostracize women who are single moms. And I don't know if I can say this on live on TV, because I remember our current deputy president during the debate introducing himself, and at that time they were competing with Martha Karua, and he kept emphasizing his being a family member, just a subtle way of attacking his competitor. And I'm like, but what has that got to do with anything?
What has that got to do with anything?
What has that got to do with leadership? But also we can ostracize women for being single moms. And celebrate men who are having extramarital affairs and having children left, right, and center. And also that women tend to bear a lot of the blame. And you have verses thrown at you. It's a funny thing. It's almost like there's no winning. It's almost like there's no winning.
I keep wondering, and for me, I'll be honest, these are some of the conversations I'd like to have with God when I get to heaven. Even the woman who was found and taken to Jesus.
The woman caught in the adultery.
Yes. I mean, she was alone. You can't be caught in adultery alone. Where was the man? So society, and it's not just now. It's from way back. The women, we usually bear the brunt. I mean,
the brunt a lot more than men.
Yes. So the other thing that I've found useful for me in my journey is not letting all this weigh me, because the truth is, if I carry this, initially I'd get very like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, why is it that the woman is the one, all that? But with time, I don't know if it's healing, I don't know if it is God. It's fine.
So guilt, shame.
Guilt. No, I don't. I don't feel shame being a single mom. No.
Is it ever thrown at you to feel ashamed?
As I mentioned, at some point I had to leave social media because I felt like it was just too much. The things that were being said about single moms,
yeah.
it was just a lot. So to protect my mind and protect my thought process, that's my way of blocking it out.
Yeah.
But having someone literally, I don't know, speak to me and tell me, oh, you single mom or something of that sort, that has not happened or that hasn't happened. And I've tried to have conversations with the kids around, you know, if it's ever something that has come up or, you know, guys are talking about their dads, you know, what happens for you guys. And so far, they seem to not have experienced it.
Yeah.
But again, I know it's because in today's world, and like before, the generation before us, there are a lot of single, you know, parent homes. So to an extent, it's become something very normal to see. So people do not get shocked, for example, that, you guys don't live with your dad. So shame, I can't say I have experienced shame. Guilt, definitely guilt from myself. Then blame from society, or in that instance, my son, when he didn't really know what has happened. Myself, blame. Shame, I wouldn't say.
You wouldn't say.
Yeah.
What's your, being a single mom, what are some of your biggest fears?
I think my biggest fear is dying right now. Like, as much as I've said, I know that the kids will be okay to a great extent. I do not, like, I keep praying to God to keep me so that I can raise them until they're of age and are able to, you know, make their own decisions and have their own things working out for them. So the biggest has been, my biggest fear is dying right now. Initially, the other fear that I used to have was, say, the kids turning out. They, you know, like when you look at them, all you see is mercy.
Yeah.
That was a fear because I mean, I am passionate about the things that I'm into, and I feel like, man, it would be nice for them to have someone to,
you don't want them
balance
cloned.
it out. Yes. To balance it out. You know, I don't want them to be like, you know, like small activists.
Yeah.
You know, of this. So, so that used to be my fear. Like, I kept thinking, I'm raising them alone. So all that they are seeing is mom. Like, all they know is mom. And yes, there's a whole bit of who God has created us to be right from birth. And I've experienced this. This one I usually say I've had a chance to see it because I have twins. And they are, I mean, right from the word go, actually right from my womb, they were two very different individuals. But I also know there's how we turn out as human beings as a result of nurture, as a result of what we're exposed to in our environment, in our society. So my other fear used to be, how do I balance myself out so that the kids are not just fooling me? And again, I sit with people, I reach out and I talk with people, and you know, one of those ladies told me, Mercy, you know what, you do your best. You do not need to do half. Don't stop thinking about the fact that you need to do half. Like, you need to be like a half human being of sorts, so that's what the kids pick. Be yourself, be the person that you are, and their personalities will come out eventually. Yes. Then the other fear would be not giving them the opportunities. So by opportunity, it's education, it's extracurricular activities, it's not being able to do that for them. Already I can see their personalities, and these are things that I'd love to be able to nurture. So I do not want to have not been able to achieve that. At some point I was worried about discipline, and if they'll turn out okay, will they be disciplined individuals? Am I going too hard on them? But that's not a fear anymore.
What happened?
I think with them growing up, I've been able to see the character come into play, and I can see that the work that I've put in, it's already bearing fruit. Yes. Then the other thing, I was listening to a podcast, and in that podcast, Priscilla Shah was sharing about her family and, you know, how they grew up, and everyone asking their parents how, you know, they turned out to be who they are. And she said the mom kept saying, just do the next right thing. Just the next right thing.
The next right thing.
Yeah, so I have learned to just do the next right thing instead of thinking about 5 years. Like I love planning.
Yeah.
And I've learned to not, you know, plan, yes, but not get so stuck on my plan.
Yeah.
Because again, when I got stuck on my plan, now I got really angry that my plan was not happening. You know, it was not turning out the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
So now I parent, for example, with what I have in mind, mercy, just do the next right thing. So if the next right thing is sitting with my daughter, for example, I'll sit with her. If the next right thing is undoing their hair, I will do it. So that I don't look at it as all those things that I'm supposed to do, because when I look at it as all those things that I'm supposed to do, again, I get overwhelmed. Yes.
How do you celebrate milestones? Do you intentionally look out for things to celebrate? And I don't just mean in the lives of your children, but in your own life as a single mom, seeing, you know.
Do I celebrate milestones?
Do you have? No, the problem with asking for celebration, you're thinking, hey, where will the money come from?
Yes. How do I celebrate milestones? Gosh.
It's hard. Is it hard to say? Do you?
So a lot of times, we talked about guilt. A lot of times when I want to, for example, spend on myself, celebrate.
Yeah.
And for me, maybe in that situation, I'm thinking I need to spend some money.
Yeah.
Like most times,
what
will come to mind will be, but have I bought the kids this?
What am I denying the kids?
Yes.
What am I denying the kids?
Have I bought the kids this? Have I bought the kids this?
Yeah.
Many times I find that I will intentionally leave the house to go to a shop to buy something for myself. In fact, there's a particular shop that know this.
Yeah.
Usually I leave and they know I have gone there to buy something for myself. But the truth is, more often than not, most times I leave with stuff for the kids, not for myself. Yourself. I find it's not something that my mind intentionally, like, it's actually a struggle. However, I have also learned there are things that I enjoy. So, I mean, once in a while I'll buy myself a bottle of wine and just celebrate myself for staying alive, first and foremost, because just parenting those kids alone, usually, sometimes I get really tired.
Yeah.
Then I try. At some point, I used to try and do this every year, towards, especially around my birthday. I love perfume, so I'd buy myself a bottle of perfume, really good perfume, but squeeze.
Someone in the production crew was shouting,
yes,
perfume.
Yes, but now, well, lately with the way the economy is and all these terms that we have had, it's been hard to do that. So
it's been
probably
hard.
like once in 2 years, like spend some good money on myself. Yes. But I try to find ways of patting myself on the back, because again, the other thing that I learned, if I don't do this, I end up starting to feel like I'm constantly giving, and there is no one that's
pouring into you,
pouring into me. Yes.
Do you have fun? Do
I have
fun? Do you have some activities that you do?
I do. Fun? In recent years, I've learned how to have fun. So I will do a road trip alone. I will, for example, one thing that for me, I decided that this is a must and I have to make sure that I do is I work out. And for me, that working out, that time alone. And there are scenarios when the kids have closed school.
Yeah.
And the girls do not want to sleep in. They just want to, come along with me. And I'm thinking, I even tell them, guys,
this is for
this
me.
Time at the gym is my time alone. But they'll sulk. So sometimes that guilt of, they're sulking. They're like, okay, let's go. I'll take them with me. So that, for me, working out is one way that I have fun.
Yeah.
Recently, I've started going back to, I do a lot of movies at the theater, not at home. Yes, I do a lot of Netflix at home, but now intentionally just going to the movies alone, minus the kids.
Yeah.
Yes. Because at some point, I realized my life was revolving around the children. So to an extent, I had almost lost my identity. And I did not know who Mercy is without the children. I would go to a place and, for example, we've been invited to a wedding and I'd go with them and I'm constantly running around taking care of them. So the time that I attend a wedding, for example, or an event alone, I'm almost like, what am I supposed to be doing with myself?
Yeah.
Now, it's something I have learned to ensure I also have time alone minus them. I keep telling them they will grow up and they will leave.
Yeah.
I better have my life together. By the time they're leaving, I do not want to be so confused on what to do with myself. They know, I keep telling them, I am counting down to doing a cruise ship trip alone minus them that they are going to pay for. Maybe not, but yes, I intend to. I try as much as possible to live as a human being alone. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. What do you do to rest?
I sleep. I sleep. And for me, sleep is key because my days are quite busy between, dropping the kids to school, going to the gym, work, them coming back. There's homework that we are doing. Constantly, there's that. So to be honest, when I get time to rest, the most important thing for me is sleep. Yes, so sleep is a big one. Once I have sorted my sleep deficit, because more often than not there's a deficit. Then next is I do a lot of Netflix.
Netflix and chill.
Netflix. Oh yes, I do a lot of Hallmark. I count down to December, but I'm not so sure if this December I'll do that.
Hallmarks are my wife's favorite.
Yeah, Hallmark is special, but it triggers a lot.
There are people who watch Hallmark movies just mushy and...
Yeah, and yes, the world is not mushy. That is where I'll stop.
No, but it builds a sweetness. It builds a sweetness in people. I want you to look at this camera as we bring this to a close and talk to single moms. You actually, single parents, keep that at single parents. And you actually now help us to lead the single parents ministry at church. What words of encouragement? And I know you have been saying a lot of that, but in summarizing the conversation we've had, what words would you use?
I'd say it gets better. It gets better. Especially to single parents, or single moms, to very young children. Children, say, below the age of 4. I know it's difficult. I know what it feels like. It's most of the time you're exhausted and you're thinking, when will I rest? It gets better. When the children grow, they become a little bit more independent. So it gets better in that way. But do not doubt yourself too much. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't beat yourself for what you're doing. Because sometimes there's a voice. I mean, there are voices from out. But ensure that the voice that is your head, the voice within your head, ensure that you're talking kindly to yourself. Remind yourself that you're doing a good job and the children are going to turn out okay. Have a community. It's for me, I have learned it's something I cannot do by myself. And when you try to do it by yourself, you're going to get really, really tired. And the truth is, a mother who's exhausted, to an extent, is almost an angry mother, and you're not going to be able to parent the way you'd like to parent. So ensure that you ask for help. Do not die alone. Don't think that you have to do this by yourself. And remember God. For me, that's key. He, in his own way, works it out. I normally say, I remember when I realized that now I'm a single mom, one of the things that I really wanted to know was, in the scripture, in the Bible, do we have any example of single moms? I literally, took time to study and figure out. And I came across Haggai, and where she was, chased by...
Hagar.
Yeah, Hagar. Yes, sorry, not Haggai, Hagar. She was chased by Abraham, and she had to go and figure out life by herself. And at some point when Ishmael, I think it's Ishmael, yes, was about to die because there was no water, there was no food. God came through for her, and she called God Jehovah El Roy, the God who sees me. For me, I call him Jehovah El Roy, the God who sees me, because even in my parenting as a single mom, I honestly have seen God come through for me. He's come through for me in the form of my family, my parents. He's come through for me in the form of my community, my siblings, friends. Grace that sometimes it's so simple, in the form of the kind of boss, for example, that I have. Because one of the things that I've learned in this journey is, if you're working, you need to be in a space that you're able to be present even as a parent. So again, you need a boss that's understanding. So I have seen God make ways for me in such ways. So do not forget God. There are moments that it will seem like you're traveling alone, but you're never alone. And when you're tired, rest. Don't give up. Don't give up. I personally, there are moments I'm like, I can't. I just need to hang my boots. Rest is key. If you prioritize rest, you'll be able to keep doing this. It gets better. And keep showing up for your child. That's the most important thing. Keep showing up for your child.
Indeed. Keep showing up. Rest. Remember God. And the most important thing I've heard you say, of course, remember God is important, but I've heard you say it gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better, and God makes it better. When he says he's the father to the fatherless and husband to the widows, the Bible, at the time anticipates parents becoming single moms as a result of death. But even where there is divorce or, whatever your circumstances are, that you have become a single mom, God is the father to all children who are fatherless. Thank you for joining us for this series on parenting. We will come back the next episode with a new series here at Healing for the Family. We're praying for your family. Have a good night.